Getting ready to clip in.
Hello, legends and super legends. Welcome to Veloharmony's analysis of the highlights of stage 18 of the 2021 Tour de France. They were going from one of the most visited cities by the Tour, Pau, to Luz Ardiden. The action was thick and fast from the get-go. You can see the route. They've got a couple of category 4 climbs, and there is a sprint point at Puzac, after which they have 2 above category climbs, which are called the HC horse categories, Le Col du Tourmalet and up to Luz Ardiden. Right here on the profile, you see where the Puzac sprint point is. They put that before the serious climbing begins because the green jersey boys are not going to be climbing with the top climbers. So they get that out of the way. It keeps the race animated. You know, it does a lot to keep the action going so it's not stale. That's where you see the little S on the map after the second category 4 climb there. And right after that, they hit the slopes of the Tourmalet. Hausse category, meaning steep gradient, long climb. 2,115 meters, probably almost 7,000 feet. Then they descend into Saint-Sauveur, which will be basically the valley before they begin to climb up to Luz Ardiden, where they finish at the summit. Look at this from the station down there, Saint-Sauveur, which is the station I just talked about, 736 meters above sea level. They're going 1,000 meters in 13.3 kilometers, which is on the bottom of the map right there. 7.4% is the average gradient overall. So they'll have 10, 13%, 12%. It's going to vary, but it's intense. Early in the race, Mahari starts an early break. These guys are not messing around. The action starts right away. But there are 3 riders up there on this screenshot that you see. And then Julien Alaphilippe and Pierre-Luc Perichon of the Cofidis team. Alaphilippe is with the DeQuintic Quick Step team. But they are 2 Frenchmen, so they decide to go together and bridge up to the group. They don't get a whole lot of time because, you know, the peloton is not going to let Alaphilippe get a free rein, you know. But at least they're mixing it in the action. This is about 113 kilometers to go. You can see there's only 51 seconds at this point. They're just now riding off the front to go join those 3 riders that were up there. You can see right here at 97 kilometers is when they're able to get to those guys. They're a minute 29 ahead of the yellow jersey group, but it's not a whole lot of time for the kind of climbing they're going to be doing today. This point is Puzac that I showed on the map. This is the sprint point before the slopes of the Tourmalet. And Cavendish decides to participate and extends his lead in the green jersey competition. He wins the sprint. He is pulled. There's a good lead out by his quick step boys, and he gets to take that sprint, padding the points that he's already leading in that competition, so he's added more. And that's always good because, you know, at this point, he's in the front group. He's with the yellow jersey group. But right when they hit the slopes, he's going to be in the gruppetto. And at that point, it's good to get the sprint points out of the way in the bag, and you don't have to worry about it. That's what that's about. Right after that sprint, the peloton puts the hammer down. You can see Alaphilippe on the left is being pulled back. That break pretty much disintegrates because now the action starts thick and fast. They really didn't gain that much time. A minute or so ahead of the peloton on a day like this is nothing. But at least they tried. This is the king of the mountain trying. He's sitting on somebody's wheel. He's trying to go to get points. Because now the sprint's over. So the guys who are in the king of the mountain competition are trying to get points. Well, they give points based on, like, sometimes they'll do like the first 3 riders that cross the summit or the first 2 riders that cross the summit. These guys are not the first 2 in this breakaway. This is the peloton itself because they just regrouped after catching the breakaway. Well, the thing is, there are a lot of attacks, there are a lot of action. And up here, there's a couple of Frenchmen that I think Gaudu is one of them, and Pierre Latour. They end up cresting and getting the KOM points first before the actual king of the mountains. You know, Wapol, he's not the greatest climber. You know, he's a big guy. And so he's not able to compete with these guys on these kind of gradients. So he tried, but he didn't make it to get all these KOM points. So these guys are taking the points right here. This is at the summit of the Tourmalet. So Pierre Latour and Gaudu picked up their points. And right after that, basically the pace picks up to the point where Rigoberto Urán is dropped. If you look at the general classification box on that screen on the right, it's like a virtual placement. They do that throughout the race based on where people are, where they started from. If everything were to stop right now, this is where everybody would be. Well, Urán got dropped from the being group, the yellow jersey group. So now, if you look at it, you got Pogacar, Vingegaard, who's just 5:39 behind. Carapaz is in this group at 5:54. Ben O'Connor now has moved up in 4th place. That's Ben O'Connor right there in the AG Tour Mondial Citron team jersey, the white jersey and the brown shorts. So based on how he's riding right this moment, he's in 4th place. And then Kelderman at 8:12. That's the top 5. Urán has dropped out of the top 5 because he got dropped from this group. On the descent, Gaudu distances Latour that he had ascended with. They're descending now after they climb the Col du Tourmalet. They're going down to the station, was what they call Luz Saint-Sylvier. There's like a thermal station. They're going to go down. I think that's a ski station at Luz Ardiden. So they're going down right at the descent of this. When they're done, they're going to have to start climbing the final climb to Luz Ardiden. That's the one where they're going to gain 1,000 meters in 13 kilometers. 13 kilometers is about probably 7 or 8 miles. So they're going to be doing some serious climbing. But he's not going to break away from the group. They're right there. They're behind him. And so you can see right here with 9.5 kilometers to go, the group driven by the Ineos Grenadier boys, they have pulled back Gaudu and Pierre Latour. And now they're forcing the pace for Carapaz. They got to keep trying. They got to try something. But regardless of what they do, you can see Pogacar is right there. So what he does is he sits on his teammate. Rafael Macca decides that after Ineos was done pulling, Macca goes to the front. Rafael Macca is a teammate of the yellow jersey on UAE team. He forces the pace to the point where Wout van Aert gets dropped. You know, this is the 3rd week of the tour. Everybody's in different conditions. Some people are more tired than others and so forth. So that acceleration by Rafael Macca after Ineos had been at the front, you know, forcing the pace. When Macca got there, Van Aert got dropped. They never saw him again for the rest of the stage as far as being in this group. As soon as Macca pulled off, Pogacar attacked. You can see Carapaz is in 3rd position. That's his teammate on Pogacar's wheel there. Vingegaard is behind Carapaz. And they're trying their best to hang on. They ride for a little bit. The rider behind there is Sepp Kuss on the left. He won a stage in a tour earlier this year. He's on the left there, and he's the teammate of Vingegaard. So he's trying to like protect his teammate. He ended up launching a few attacks, but it didn't go anywhere. So Pogačar sits at the front, drives the pace. They're just willing to follow. So with 3.2 kilometers to go, Enric Mas, who is a Movistar teammate of Alejandro Valverde, launches an attack. The reason he did that is they have 726 meters. They're inside the last kilometer to finish at Luz Ardiden. He's trying to go for the victory. He's trying to go for the stage win. He kept the attack for a little bit, but Pogačar would not allow him to go. Pogačar rides up to him. Carapaz is on Pogačar's wheel. Vingegaard is there. But watch as Pogačar catches Mas, goes around him. You can see right there, Mas is behind him. Look at where Vingegaard is. Pogačar continues to force the pace. So now you see the gap between Pogačar and Carapaz and Vingegaard. You don't see Enric Mas anymore because of those efforts that he'd already launched. He's trying to recover. He's just out of camera sight right now. He's around that bend. But Pogačar does not let up. As they go around these turns to the finish line, he continues to open the gap on these guys. Around the next turn, you can't even see those guys. On this turn here now, you can see all that's there is him and the finish line. And then this angle shows them coming in as he crosses the line. But they basically could not even stay on his wheel. So he wins 2 stages in a row at Luz Ardiden from Pole. They average 36.4 kilometers an hour. These are 10% grades, overall 7% on the last one. But 36.4 kilometers an hour is about 23 miles an hour. That's a serious pace for this kind of terrain. So he takes the stage. He gets 2 seconds. When they cross the line, there was enough gap to where he gained 2 seconds on the line. Plus, he gets 10-second bonus for being in first place. And Vingegaard got the 6-second bonus. I believe it's 10, 6, and 3 or 2 or something like that. Carapaz got. But anyway, he ends up extending his lead further. You can see Ben O'Connor is in 8th place on the stage. Alejandro Valverde is in 10th place. So Valverde has been climbing consistently. Sepp Kuss is in 6th place there at 30 seconds behind the leaders. But when you look at the overall classification now, he has extended his lead on everyone because of those bonuses, the gaps at the line. He's now 5:45 ahead of Vingegaard. He's 5:51 ahead of Carapaz. Ben O'Connor has moved into 4th. Rigoberto Urán ends up he's in 10th place, but I believe he ended up losing about 9 minutes. I think he lost about 9 minutes. So he's really going to have to, he's not going to be able to even be on the podium. He's just not going very well right now. He's probably just tired, But basically, the tour is not over. Tomorrow's stage, from Marennes to Libourne, they're going north. It's a very long stage, but it's possible to get a breakaway or something, So it's kind of like the tour's not quite over, but I believe that first place is locked up. On this stage here, there's not a whole lot of heavy climbing going on per se, but just the sheer length. And, if you look at it, so it could be a day for the sprinters or maybe a breakaway. That's kind of what we're expecting. So I don't expect a whole lot to change in the GC. They're out of the mountains now. And so it's pretty much, it's over for first place because he has put his stamp on that. 2 days in a row in the mountains, he wins both stages. That's the strongest rider in this race. So hope you all will get a chance to tune in tomorrow for stage 19, we should be interesting. I'm hoping that maybe the Quick Step makes some kind of a move. Maybe CAF can get number 35 and break the record. So you all take care and be safe when you're getting your K's in.